So again, I mean, if there are a number of data sets that we've been provided in this profile, all showing something interesting along these lines that I do think we need to explore in a little bit more detail. So I would suggest for the short term, as I said, for 2013-14, that we use the existing neighbourhood plans and the emerging issues that have come up since to help us set our priorities. But from 2014-15 onwards, that we really look in more detail into the constituency profiles, supplemented with data from partners for around, for example, crime disorder and issues related to fire, to help us set the medium to long-term priorities for this committee. So I would propose, Chair, that a task and finish group is created to undertake work around the priorities. I would suggest for consistency that the same group also looks at the spend, but I will cover that in more detail in my next presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. Can we agree to note the contents of the brief? Comments?
Just a very quick question, really. I'm just interested in where Caroline got the emerging issues from. I'm sure many of them are emerging issues in the Wallasey constituency, but I'm just interested as to whether you got it from the consultation that's currently ongoing, or is it just something that you personally see as being an emerging issue in the constituency?
They were priorities predominantly that came out of the workshop that we undertook with members, but also that have been fed in through partner agencies as well.
Are there any more questions or comments on the presentation you've just seen? Okay. Can we agree then to the creation of the task and finish groups? Agreed. Right. The recommendation from the presentation is that obviously we set up these priority spending task finish groups, and there's also the numbers as well in there. The task and finish groups should consist of between six and
six elected members, 4 true.
Yeah.
On the 4 true, plus 2 independents. Could be determined by nominations from the individual groups.
Excuse me, microphone please.
The individual groups should nominate to the task and finish. So the independents need to nominate who they would like to represent them between two of the independents. And the same with the political groups, they should nominate who they wish to sit on the task and finish groups. So I think rather than that, having a mini ballot here now, we're going to take nominations from the 3 groups.
Actually, Lance, anything more? Okay, if we can, you doing that? Right, we have a second there. Should we take a vote? Those in favour of the recommendations? Yeah? Unanimous. Okay. Okay. Item 5, again, we've got another presentation from Caroline.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to very briefly talk through a proposed process in terms of dealing with the spend available to the committee. You'll be pleased to know it is just one slide. We have a £50,000 allocation from the Council with the recommendation that that spend is focused on tackling inequalities. We do potentially have some other funding as well. It's very recently been agreed that a £10,000 allocation of a Love Wirral grant will be given to the committee. That funding will become available, the process will commence next week on the 28th of October with the closing date of the 6th of December, and that's available to community groups around improvements in neighbourhoods. That will go to a public vote and we will need to be bringing those decisions back for ratification by the committee to our February committee. I have some posters and information for anybody to take away, for anybody who's interested in that. Michelle Gray, our neighbourhood officer, will kindly distribute that. The little leaflets are actually, they actually have seeds embedded in. So I would encourage anybody to take them. You can take them away and plant them. So I'd encourage you to take those away.
What kind of seeds are they?
In addition, it's been approved, subject to calling, that there is 25,000 available for public health for the committee. The bid that was submitted covers a broad range of outcomes, so there is some flexibility for the committee in determining what that money is spent on. So, for example, it includes child poverty, reducing first-time entrance into the youth justice system, and social isolation, for example. So, as I say, subject to calling, hopefully that money will be available to the committee. I've come up with a proposal, and this doesn't require any decision-making tonight, but just a suggestion around how we can distribute the £50,000. And I would, as I mentioned before, I would propose that we have a task and finish group that took responsibility for this. As I said before, I think for ease, if that was combined with the task and finish group to look at priorities, I think that would be better in terms of consistency, but members might want to double the size of that because of the role and responsibility of that group, so instead of 6 members, maybe look at 12. I'll leave that as a matter for the committee to think about. If we start with constituency options, obviously I haven't allocated any amounts to this. The task and finish group could make recommendations to the constituency committee based on priorities that are set. This might be, for example, asking a voluntary community or faith organisation to undertake particular work to help us improve on the priorities or undertake particular activities. Or it might be that the committee wants to ask a particular agency to undertake a particular activity to again help us target some of our priorities. The decision around that spend would need to be made no later than the February 2014 meeting that we have timetabled. I'd also suggest that we look at a small grants fund. This would be available to voluntary community and faith organisations to bid into. Again, the amount that's allocated to this would be a matter for the committee. The task and finish group would need to make recommendations around the bidding process. That process would need to be agreed at our December meeting. That could then be implemented. The task and finish group could then make recommendations after filtering those applications back to the committee, and a decision would need to be made on awarding any grants at our February meeting. And then finally, I'm suggesting that a small amount could be put into what are called the common solving fund, which for me would be common sense items suggested by members or other individuals. I could submit recommendations to the task and finish group. They would have a small budget devolved to them, and they could make decisions on simple things that we needed to address neighbourhood issues quickly without having to wait for a committee meeting that could be 2 or 3 months in advance. I also heard a police and crime commissioner talk earlier this week about a game-changing act, and really this could be used for that same type of thing. That was about a little pot of money that they could use to test new ways of working or have a go at trying out a few new initiatives that didn't have to go through any bureaucratic process in terms of authorisation. It was something that made sense, that got
you. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, quick question regarding the small grants fund. Recommendations for bidding process agreed by the committee December 2013. Christmas, we've got Christmas coming, we've got the decision on water grants February 2014. Will that give you enough time to get a message out to groups to put in bids in order for them to be considered and awarded, which I think in February 2014? Because it's really start to get.
In terms of the process that we've been going through while we've been setting up, we've updated all our information around community groups and the contacts that we've got. So we've got a really good, accurate database in terms of all our contacts. We're in reasonably regular contact with some of those groups, and very shortly we'll have agreed our communication strategy as well. So we'll hopefully be making use of social media and other tools. So I am confident that we can get that message out widely within that time scale.
Councillor Hackett,
Thanks. Just two questions, please, Caroline. Just on, I mean, some of this I think is very good, by the way. I think the problem solving is very good with these other agencies that you identify problems in our ward. Makes a lot of sense. But just ask, just to the one area of the Wirral, this is going to be voted on, is it? Yeah.
By members of the public,
Like
yes.
the other areas for.
It will be online voting.
Online. Right. And the rest is going through the process, as we said earlier. Can I ask as well, on bigger picture stuff, bringing in more money, and did you mention the police? Public health, yeah. How are we doing that? How are we looking to tackle that, to bring in money from the departments to be the priorities we eventually agree on as this process evolves? Because I know it's early days.
As you said, it is an evolving process, and there is a commitment from other partners to look at devolving budgets and pooling resources in terms of moving forward. This is where we are this year. The expectation is that those figures will increase as we move forward, and other partners' money will be put into the pot as well.
But the real needs of it, how are we going to actually do that? Because they didn't want to sign up to what we all agree on over this next 6 months or more. It's important to be able to bring them to the table, isn't it? And we're talking about the task and finish with that as well. Or how are we doing the structure?
Well, to some extent that's going to come out of the local public service boards and the overarching public service boards. But we've already seen that commitment demonstrated in terms of the police and the fire service have also reconfigured their services to be coterminous with the constituency boundaries. So we're already partway down that process.
Councillor
Caroline, my question is, the emergency services are obviously going to be putting some sort of money into the pot here. My question is, have you got any idea how much money it's going to be, and is it going to be consistent across the 4 constituencies? Sort of one constituency, I forget more. So if the fire services are going to be given money, are they going to be given money equally? So do we know how much is going to be given, and is it going to be given consistency for all the emergency services?
At this stage, we don't know figures. Over time, based on the evidence that we're gathering in terms of the constituency profiles, it should be based around rather than the same amount on a blended basis given to all 4. It should be based around
Councillor
Yeah, just along the lines of Caroline suggested about task and finish groups, what we don't want these things to become cumbersome and have too many people on to the decisions made. We need to keep them streamlined, and if you have different task and finish groups, then there should be different personnel on them. It's important to do one thing. The issue around whether the public have money or whatever, the police money, or people come via the deficiencies that are out there right now, where poor health is, you should imagine more money will be given to areas with the poor health. But that's where we have to tackle the issue. One thing I didn't see on there, which I think is a big problem, is smoking and smoking cessation. How successful has that been around the communities that are actually where the greatest risk is? Some of our poorer communities, and looking at them figures. So I think we need to tease that out of the house. And obviously, if these things do come possibly, because
next one. Jack.
In terms of where our public sector partners are at, in terms of what we're going to put on the table, 12 months ago we set up the Wirral Public Service Board, which includes all the chief officers from the council, the police, fire, Wirral Metropolitan College, Hospital Trust, the primary care commissioning groups, and at those meetings there have been lots of discussions around how together as public sector partners we can start to share our resources, which isn't just budgets, it's also about buildings, it's also about how we can integrate our workforces more, and those discussions are really progressing. I think the police are going to be the first off the mark in actually putting budgets on the table, but at this moment in time I can't give you the actual figure, but discussions have been very, very positive.
Thank you. Anyone?
Again, just a very quick question. I'm not perplexed and I'm probably a bit obsessed of this excellent leaflet of the season, but is this relating to the small grants fund?
It isn't, no, it's a separate pot of funding.
Right.
I'll be sending a briefing note to all members tomorrow explaining the whole programme.
Okay, because as you said, this will be posted on the internet and we get to start the process for small grants.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Just something that's legal. It's just if we're going to do, if pots of money are going to be given out as upon the need of the different wards or the different constituencies, is the measurement for need going to be transparent? How are we going to measure need? Is that going to be left to the different agencies to demonstrate?
It's about bringing together all that data that's available for us to interpret and explore and interrogate. I'm very keen, and this relates to our communication strategies, that the information that we've got that is publicly available, we make sure that that is easily accessible for those of the public to see as well.
Just on target, it's an excellent idea. We just advise people not to plan for this time of the year. It'd be very disappointing to plant it in the spring.
Okay, thanks very much for that presentation. Very commented. So now what we need to decide is the size of the task and finish groups. Do we want to keep them at 6 or increase them to 12?
My recommendation would keep them at 6 and to community. If we need additional tasks and finish groups, then we can form that like we need. I think we have 12. They did get 12 people together at the same time, councillors. It's hardly difficult. I'm quite difficult if we should come to me. I can't. When you think the size of the councillors anyway, it's only 22. We're taking over half. Taking over half the council to be in attendance, which is quite feasible. So I would assume it's different 6 and 2 community representatives. If you need additional task management, then we can form them for task and finish is what we call. I agree with that.
Okay. Jim? Lewis?
Could I ask just to be clear on Councillor Abbey's proposal, are we talking 6 councillors plus 2 community reps? So it's a committee of 8? Okay.
There's lots of suggestions as well, councillors, community reps or whatever it is.
Okay, so for clarification, what we're saying, there'll be 8, there'll be 2 community reps.
As the terms of reference.
Yeah.
Quite
No, but there was an option that we
Now, if
gave
you
more
look
people.
at terms of reference, so we've got terms of reference, and we've accepted it.
Okay.
Chair, if I may just clarify the position with regards to what's been proposed, I think Karen made reference to the priority and task finish group, which was agreed in the earlier item, or the previous item, be effectively, its remit would be extended to include essentially the work around the financial protocol and the presentation that you heard there. So you effectively have the previous task and finish group deal with these particular issues.
Just for clarification as well, I know we haven't actually elected the community reps yet, so
We have.
have we?
Well, we've got nomination comes after this project net this.
Okay. Sorry.
Right, so I believe that's further on the agenda.
Okay, sorry.
Into that. Right, so we've got the proposal there about the size of groups and that the task and finish groups also consider the financial elements. Let's put that to vote. All those in favour? Okay, moving on with the agenda. Item 6. Councillor Abbey is going to provide us with an update.
Thank you. Yes, the Honourable Council met last night with the independent representative to look at the candidates. Can I personally and also on behalf of everybody thank everybody that applied for 6 places within the Constituency Committee. It's a very difficult decision task the panel had to select a number of individuals from that. We selected 5 because we felt it's important. We could have selected 6, but we decided on 5. It was important because we encourage youth representation because as you can see, not much youth here, and we need to make sure youth are represented through a variety of mechanisms. I'm getting some terrible looks at that. That's excluding panel over there, the fingers still young. But I think it's important that we encourage young people to be involved in this process, that they are the future. So with that, we did start to discuss, and Caroline's going to look at a number of mechanisms, how do we engage through our youth parliament, through our schools, inviting our schools, by writing the schools, and so the schools all have school councils. I'm sure we can find somebody who would represent the young people. I think we should be encouraging more and more young people to attend these things. Sometimes they find it a bit dry. I think if we can make them more enjoyable for them, we'll encourage them to come on. So I think the chair has got the list of the 5 successful candidates. So I invite the chair to read them out for everybody's information. Thank you.
Okay, successful candidates are as follows. We've got Mr. Keith Raybould, if I pronounced that correctly, Mr. Anthony Jones, Mr. Brian Higgins, Mr. Paul Roberts, and Mr. Ken Harrison. That's the 5, and as we said, we're reserving the 6th for a young member. Okay. Okay, so we need to take a vote now to agree the process. And all of the appointments that were just read out.
Chair, following on from Councillor Abbey's point and the wider point about a youth representative, as the former chair of the Wallasey and Brighton Area Forum, I think consistently as a forum we ask for a youth representative to attend of the officers to seek a youth representative, because I think there is a parallel Wallasey Youth Forum of sorts, isn't there? Is it that we are going to finally approach one of them to come and sit on this committee?
No?
Through you, Chair, I think what we decided we would approach all these forums within Wallasey, including the schools. So we try to go as wide as we can to get a wider suite so we can have as much representation. Because what they have to do is then decide amongst themselves that they would like to represent them. We can't, I don't think we should be imposing any individual, but we should need to encourage as many young people to be considering involved in by attending and not participating, but becoming part of some of the task groups we can have. We can co-opt young people onto the task groups. I think we've got lots of opportunity here to include young people, and maybe there may be more places available for young people in the future. But this particular process is only until March 2013, and then we look at a new process going forward. It's just a period of time. I think we need to engage all the schools, the Wallasey Forum and the youth departments to try and find out is there young people who are interested in coming forward. And our youth workers can engage people as well when they're out and about to encourage young people to be involved. I think that's the process that we need to be going for, and that's what Caroline's been tasked to do within the team.
Okay, so just to be clear, I mean, there are many forums and there are obviously schools who I think do send representatives anyway to the youth parliament, and there's an election process there as well. But are we going to have an officer appointed to make sure that that vacancy to the bank is filled by a young person?
Yeah, it's going to be lots of recommendation going forward. Okay, then any more questions, comments? No. Okay, so the chair's recommendation on this, what I'm recommending is that we agree the process that's been adopted to select the community representatives. Take a vote on that. Oh, sorry, we'll take them all together. We'll agree the co-option of the 5 individuals. I'll read the names out again. It's Mr. Keith Raybould, Mr. Anthony Jones, Mr. Ryan Higgins, Mr. Paul Roberts, and Mr. Ken Harrison. But also that we agree to reserve the reservation of one place for the co-option of a young person. Now, can I just ask, what are we define as a young person? How young?
Under the age of 21.
Yeah. 25.
Whatever